It's a piece of shit walking down a trail of shit, leaving shit crumbs to find his way home. I can't keep track of all the shit. Brian Stelter.
Sorry. I just can't take him seriously.
Started yet.
It doesn't matter. The name alone.
Here's the thing. It's a slow... Nothing about this is going to be good.
No.
It's all accurate, but it's very off-putting, much like Brian Stelter. So this is long overdue for Brian Stelter. But the past few weeks, he's really earned it with the leftist propaganda he's been pushing. And it's even more... You know what? It's time for this week's What a Piece of Shit. Yeah, that's very short. We had to reach into the vault.
We shortened that, yeah.
Yeah, reach into the vault to find that picture. Do you have Brian Stelter? You don't have him in Canada.
Is that what he really looks like?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a bunch
That's
of...
a real person?
This is a real...
That's amazing.
This is a real person on the news.
He has his own show.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Okay, so reason number 5, and this is what bothers me most. I know this should probably be number 1, but I think it sets up the context most importantly. This guy, Brian Stelter, is constantly... And he doesn't even see how transparent it is. It's inadvertently transparent. He's not trying to be transparent, but he's accidentally transparent in praising his own show, his own network, and he's constantly, his whole show, it's just about convincing you of his value as a media dinosaur. Here you go.
And I'm actually a defender of this cable talk show model. I'm an avid viewer of it.
Of course you are.
Because news headlines are ubiquitous these days. Our phones alert us to the news. So cable is more like a rolling talk show, letting people be a part of the daily debate about how our country should be governed and how our world should work. But here's the thing, speculation actually has value too. It helps open our eyes, helps open our minds to what's possible. I know people like to mock cable news in moments like this. It's an easy punchline, right? Of course. We are kind of standing by to find out what the news is going to be, waiting for A.G. Barr to tell us something.
Nothing.
But that does have value too.
No!
It gives you a place to go, a place to turn to. A recognition that you're not the only one who wants to know.
Go read an online article, go home, go to the pub and get crap-faced. Anything but this!
Yes.
It adds value too. Complete speculation devoid of facts. What a piece of shit. Brian Stelter, you use your airtime to advocate why you need the remaining portion of your airtime. By the way, did you know Pentelis? He's straight.
For a talking penis, though, he lacks charisma. You'd think he'd have more.
You'd think he'd be a little more whimsical.
Oh, my gosh.
Brian Stelter, you generally don't get the story right. You nearly always get it wrong, and then you double down. Don't believe me yet? Well, we're going to get to reasons 4 through 1, you piece of shit. So let's go to reason number 4. I should have had a language warning. It's bleeped, but this is designed with it in mind. But there's no other way to describe Jussie Smollett and Brian Stelter. And I know he's going to see this. You're welcome. He blamed the synagogue shooting. Okay, this is reason number 4. Blamed the synagogue shooting on Fox News anchors. Here you go.
The ridiculousness of this rhetoric, but it is effective among some people. I sure hope some of those Fox hosts, some of those commentators take a moment, take a minute to think about their role in this environment. Hopefully there's some soul searching right now in the wake of this massacre.
What?
Oh my gosh.
By the way,
I have not seen that.
What does that have to do with asylum seekers? He's like, if we had more immigrants, they could shield the Jew. What is he talking about?
I don't know. But you will notice a trend as we go through these clips. He's the news correspondent equivalent of Christian Bale. Like, these all occur within the same year, and it's like, guess his weight. Step right up. Step right up. This clip's from after Thanksgiving. See? So Stelter, here he argued that Fox News referred to immigrants as invaders, and that this somehow drove someone to shoot, I guess, a bunch of Jews. That's what he's trying to say. Fox News is responsible for shooting Jews. Muhammad, by the way, not responsible for anyone having sex with 6-year-old girls or, killing Jews, as he called for in his last words. That would be a misinterpretation of kill the Jews.
Insensitive.
That was a smear campaign.
It was definitely a smear.
It was a smear campaign from Big Hadith.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Call me when you do a segment, Mr. Stelter, on how Ilhan Omar or Linda Sarsour, they're responsible for hate crimes against Jews. So let's just do that. Because I know people say it's not fair to compare Muhammad. Okay, current figures. But, Brian, I don't think you will. That would require you to be consistent, which you most never are, and is ironically one of the strong suits of most pieces of shit. So it seems as though you've missed the boat even on that. By the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed on YouTube because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot anymore. Also, bookmark the page because notifications may not work anymore. Let us know if you're getting them. Best thing is to join at loudwithcrowder.com/mugclub. You get the full catalog, full daily show. And of course, subscribe on iTunes and rate us there because we might be pulled. Who knows? Okay, reason number 3. This one should, I mean, I almost could just roll the clip, but let me just set it up in case for people who are listening in the car. He pushed Evan. He pushed Evan. I saw it. It's
Avenatti.
it's so hard. It's hard to get out of my mouth.
I'm embarrassed for him.
Which one, Avenatti?
Yeah, no, both.
He pushed Avenatti as a presidential candidate. Seriously, repeatedly. Here you go.
President Obama also had a lot of TV star power, and that helped him pre-Trump. But Trump is more evidence of this. And looking ahead to 2020, one reason why I'm taking you seriously as a contender is because of your presence on cable news.
Really? Put a Black Garrett soundboard. Hit that. That one needs, that's a big, yeah, there you go. What a piece of shit.
I'll give him an extra one. Here we go.
There you go. That seems like a Brian Stelter one. That seems
why?
like the one that he would do,
Yeah.
and he would blame it on the
Something in.
dog.
Yeah.
But not like as a joke that's cute. Like, it's the dog. He'd be like, no, it's seriously the dog. I think we need to put it down. He would take the dog to cover up his own tracks to the vet and have the dog put down just so he wouldn't be blamed. With Avenatti, he's specifically only taking him seriously because of his appearances on CNN. Again, go back to reason number 5. It's like, I think that you would be a great president because I want to remain employed?
And you're on my show. That means you're important.
You're all
Otherwise, you
wrong.
wouldn't be on my show.
All wrong. It's because he likes his hair.
Yes.
Yeah. There is a bit of a
Envious.
camaraderie there.
There's a little bit of- By the way, the only reason Avenatti was there was because you put him there. Avenatti was on CNN and MSNBC over 100 times in 10 weeks.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh.
true.
100 times in 10 weeks. If you want to, this is kind of like what Bill Maher said. Oh, if I want to know that Trump colluded with the Russians, I just turn on my TV
I have
and
eyes.
see yourself.
Yes. Saying it.
This is like Brian Stelter saying the reason Avenatti would be great is because he's on all of the important shows. Well, which shows? My show. He's on my show. Therefore, he should be president so he could be on more shows when he's president. Which shows? My show. I think he should be on my show so he becomes president so he comes back on my show completely 100% straight. Buy it.
What is that go-getter Avenatti up to now? I'm curious.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Actually, Avenatti, who himself is equally a piece of now been arrested for trying to extort Nike for $50 million. So I wouldn't hold my
okay.
breath.
Well, that's-
Yeah, exactly. He's taking one of those prison readiness classes right now.
Yes.
Here's what you do.
And when
on
he
your
went in and
first
they asked him
day.
to put his belongings in the bin, he said, wait, haven't you seen me on Stelter? And they said, sir, no one's seen you on Stelter.
I could have been a presidential candidate.
But he does come in every few weeks for voluntary conjugal visits. He just wants to put a smile on their face.
Wow.
Reason number 2, he blamed at the female prisons, clearly.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. I know
It's
people, I'm
Judy.
really not just weaponizing sexuality here.
Of course.
I had everyone in this room, honestly, okay, if you were to watch that, would you think the guy's straight?
I would have questions.
Well, you have the worst gaydar in the world. Penn, tell us.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think he was a person.
Reason number 2, and this one's pretty obvious. He blamed the Russia, right? He blamed Donald Trump for the Russian collusion conspiracy. So that would seem bad enough. But here's the thing. That's actually not number 2 here. All right? He actually blamed the conspiracy itself on Trump. So after Stelter was pushing the narrative for 2 years on his show because speculation is super important, and then it was completely blown up, he doesn't apologize. He blames the conspiracy for being created by Trump. Here.
You're going to hear this from the right for the next days and weeks to come, that the press has basically made all of this up to take down President Trump. But the press is just following a trail that Trump created.
What?
What?
Does he even know what that means?
So, hold on a second. Journalists were following a trail that Trump created? What?
It led to nowhere, evidently.
like Donald Trump, like this is like, okay, this is going to be one of the greatest tricks in political history. All right? They're going to hang this around my neck, and it's going to impede my presidency. I'm almost going to get impeached. And that's it. There's nothing more to the plan. No, you
great
created
plan.
the false
The best
trail,
plan.
you fat piece of shit. You're the one who did it. And you blame it on Trump. Take the Steele dossier, for example. It was a fake document created by a Democrat PR firm that the media you spread. And by the way, he went on to say that the Russian collusion narrative, it was basically the entire premise of the show. By the way, named reliable sources
Yes.
Unironically.
all day. Watch this clip.
Welcome back to Reliable Sources, where every day we're trying to keep track of the drip, drip, drip of the Russia investigations.
Something else.
It's a piece of shit walking down a trail of shit, leaving shit crumbs to find his way home. I can't keep track of all the shit. I mean, he's really trying to cut it off at the pass, and he just doesn't know how. He's like, now listen, they're going to say that the Russian collusion thing is not true, that it didn't happen. But these are the same people who don't believe I'm straight. Also, Donald Trump was the one who did this. Donald Trump was the one who set the trail of breadcrumbs when Roger Stone met with the Russians and sent a tweet to Julian Assange. And by the way, what was Donald Trump doing when he had Kid Rock out in American flag pants, who at one point had sex with Pamela Anderson, who happens to be friends with, again, Julian Assange? Why are you leaving? It's practically a bakery, President Trump. What? Oh, now you're going to blame me now? That's bullshit.
He needs to reinvent himself. He's got to shave it completely, tattoo guitars in flames, and call himself Helter Stelter. That's what he needs.
Whole new show.
Yeah, whole new show.
That show will suck too, though.
Yeah, obviously.
It really will.
All right. Reason number one. And honestly, this is like Joe Biden. They don't really need to go in this order, but just because he was also in our previous POS segment defending Jussie Smollett. Now, again, it's not just about the Jussie Smollett hate crime being exposed as a hoax.
Oh, my gosh.
That would be too reductive. We wouldn't want to be reductive when addressing Brian Stelter because Brian Stelter, I think of him as a nuanced issue. You know, like a bridge troll. So he claimed, like, they're not all bad.
Everybody else missed that joke.
He claimed that news organizations were really careful.
Oh.
And that it was only, so this is why it's not just that he rushed to judgment. He claimed that the news didn't rush. It was only random people on Twitter who rushed to judgment.
There was a rush to judgment. I think it was mostly in the celebrity press and among activists and among Twitter people. I think it was a really careful reporting by news organizations. But it all gets lumped in together at the end of the day. It all gets lumped in together in the minds of many people.
Wrong again, you piece of shit! Talking heads on CNN from Brooke Baldwin to April Ryan. I think Don Lemon. No, yes, absolutely Don Lemon. He actively helped to push the Smollett hoax. And how do you know that we're telling the truth? Because now Stelter is claiming, even today, that we may never know what happened on that fateful night.
The narrative is once again changed from victim, to villain, back to victim. It's been very confusing, as Ryan was saying. People don't know what to believe, and we may never really know what happened on the street that night in Chicago.
Well, I guess it remains a mystery to all of us. Signing off. Good night, and I'm a piece of shit.
If this confuses him, he's confused by on and off switches.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, by the way, we may never know. Okay, let me kind of rattle off why that might not be true. Okay, the DA specifically said that Smollett was guilty. They were just letting him off because he served 16 hours of community service. We have video of the Nigerian brothers purchasing the materials used in the attack. We have the testimony that Jussie paid them, and we have the check with which he actually paid them. This story didn't have a turd in the punch bowl from the beginning. The whole punch bowl was nothing but shit.
He wrote on the memo line, fake attack.
Terrible criminal.
Yes.
Payable to fake checks cash.
Yes.
Here's what I don't understand.
Gone too far.
CNN made this decision. The reason Brian Stelter has, he gets to go out there, continually advocate for his job, right? Really, he has to. He doesn't just have a portion of his show. Watch his show. This is my challenge to you. I'm sorry, but watch his show and tell me if he goes a single segment without somehow advocating for the importance of his job. And he has to do it because of the blind spot that networks like CNN have. They have to, please, someone tell me. Fat, yep, check. Talentless, yep. Seemingly gay, check. Uninteresting, yep. No one will watch, check. You have a show, sir.
How does this happen?
They
Green
actually,
light.
he is proof positive about the blind spot immediately. They actually thought his show would work. Someone lost to Brian Stelter. There was a callback. Imagine being in that room,
exactly.
Right? There's people sitting there with their sides at the callback, and everyone there, right? They're nervous, but they all feel pretty confident that he's not going to get it. They're pointing to Stelter, and then they see him on television later that week, and they say, "No, that's how bad and how much of a piece of I think he is." If you think I'm out of line, please let me know. Hey there, here I am drinking from my mug in a button down. How often do you see this? Never. So do me a favor and yourself, click one of these videos playing one of these boxes here, or subscribe, hit the notification bell also, because subscriptions don't really mean a whole lot. If you really want to support the show, join my club. If you don't, then there's no helping you.